protected by Krishna from inside and outside. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Suttra Sada Sri Srimati Dani Goswami Abhaicharan Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. '26, huh? And I will read 26, we will chant 27, and then I'll also read 28. So 26 is Shiras Tvamaratam Nitam Nitam brought. Ajo Grahamachi Kripat Yastu Parvani Chandrarkau Abhidavatit Vairadi. Rahu's head, however, having been touched by the nectar, became immortal. Thus, Lord Brahma accepted Rahu's head as one of the planets. Hare Krishna. Would you like to have one of your body parts become a planet? Doesn't seem to be part of our service, is it? Yeah. Since Rahu is an eternal enemy of the moon and the sun, he always tries to attack them on the nights of the full moon and the dark moon. Purport, short purport. Since Rahu had become immortal, Lord Brahma accepted him as one of the grahas. Grahas are astrological planets that have influence. There are plenty of planets, but grahas are astrological, the planets that have astrological influence. Grahas or planets like the moon and the sun. Rahu, however, being an eternal enemy of the moon and the sun, attacks them periodically during the nights of the full moon and dark moon. And 27, I think we will chant. Pita prayemrite devair. Pita prayemrite devair. Bhagavan loka bhavana. Bhagavan loka bhavana. Pashyatam asurendranam. Pashyatam asurendranam. Swam rupam jagrihe hari. Swam rupam jagrihe hari. Pita prayemrite devair. Bhagavan lokabhavana. Pashyatam asurendranam. Swam rupam jagrihe hari. Next, please. Pita prayemrite devai. Bhagavan. Pashyatam asurendranam. Swam rupam jagrihe hari. Pita prayemrite devai. Bhagavan lokabhavana. Pashyatam asurendranam. Arupam jagrihe hari. Ladies, please. Pita prayemrite devai. Bhagavan lokabhavana. Pashyatam asurendranam. Swam rupam jagrihe hari. Pita praye. When almost finished being drunk. Amrite, the nectar. Devai, by the demigods. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Mohini Murti. Lokabhavana, the maintainer and well-wisher of the three worlds. Pashyatam, in the presence of Asura Indranam, all the demons with their chiefs, Swam, own, Rupam, form, Jagrihe, manifested, Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the best friend and well-wisher of the three worlds. Thus, when the demigods had almost finished drinking the nectar, the Lord, in the presence of all the demons, disclosed His original form, Hare Krishna. And 28, where Prabhupada gives a thorough, scary purport, Hare Krishna. So be careful, better fall asleep. Otherwise it's very uncomfortable. I'm warning. Okay, 28. Evam sura gana samadesha kala hetvarta karma matayopi phale vikalpa tatramritam suragana palamagya sapu anjasapur yatpada pankajaraja shrayanan adaitya. The place, the time, the cause, the purpose, the activity and the ambition were all the same for both the demigods and the demons. But the demigods achieved one result and the demons another. Yes? Demigods drank nectar, demons drank smoke, belched by the dragon. Because the demigods are always under the shelter of the dust of the Lord's lotus feet, they could very easily drink the nectar and get its result. The demons, however, not having sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, were unable to achieve the result they desired. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 4.11 it is said, Yeyatamam prapadyat te tam stataiva bhajamyaham. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Judge who rewards or punishes different persons according to their surrender unto His lotus feet. Therefore, it can actually be seen that although karmis and bhaktas may work in the same place, at the same time, with the same energy, and with the same ambition, they achieve different results. The karmis transmigrate through different bodies in the cycle of birth and death, sometimes going upward and sometimes downward, thus suffering the results of their actions in the karma chakra, the cycle of birth and death. The devotees, however, because of fully surrendering at the lotus feet of the Lord, are never baffled in their attempts. Although externally they work almost like the karmis, the devotees go back home, back to Godhead, and achieve success in every effort. The demons or atheists have faith in their endeavors, but although they work very hard day and night, they cannot get any more than their destiny. They have faith in the endeavors, work hard, and they get their destiny, but not more. Destiny. The devotees, however, can surpass the reactions of karma and achieve wonderful results, even without effort. It's what everybody likes, right? It is also said, Palena parichiyate, one's success or defeat in any activity is understood by its result. There are many karmis in the dress of devotees, But the Supreme Personality of Godhead can detect their purpose. The karmis want to use the property of the Lord for their selfish sense gratification. But a devotee endeavors to use the Lord's property for God's service. Therefore, a devotee is always distinct from the karmis, although the karmis may dress like devotees. Hare Krishna. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Yagyartat karma nonyatra lokayam karma bandhana. One who works for Lord Vishnu is free from this material world. And after giving up his body, he goes back home, back to Godhead. A karmi, however, although externally working like a devotee, is entangled in his non-devotional activity. He's working like a devotee, but he's entangled in his non-devotional activity. And thus he suffers the tribulations of material existence. So if I suffer, that's probably me, right? I'm probably this demoniac karmi. Thus, from the results achieved by the karmis and devotees, one can understand the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who acts differently for the karmis and jnanis than for the devotees. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita therefore says, Krishna bhakta nishkama ateva shanta bhukti mukti siddhikami sakali ashanta. The karmis who desire sense gratification, the jnanis who aspire for the liberation of merging into the existence of the Supreme, and the yogis who seek material success in mystic power, are all restless. And ultimately they are baffled. But the devotee who does not expect any personal benefit and whose only ambition is to spread the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is blessed with all the auspicious results of bhakti-yoga without hard labor. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunminitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Tam Shrimat Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagat Guru Misyanukampaya Shravi Mahabdim Santaret Sukham. My obeisances to Jagat Guru Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose grace a small dog can cross a big ocean. Actually, I wanted to chant another verse. I don't know how this verse jumped in. Aganya Danya Chaitanya Danya Prema Vanyaya Nini Danya Jana Santa Marushashvadanupatam. My respectful obeisances unto the uncountable very fortunate devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who, to bless the unfortunate people with deserts instead of hearts, bring a flood of message of love of Godhead. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna is everybody's friend. That's a rather famous statement. You may know the verse where Krishna says it. There are many verses where it's mentioned that Krishna is everybody's friend. What verses do you know that Krishna is a friend? You for sure you know. Yes. Manmanabhava Madbhakto. Yeah, it ends Priyosime. He says, "You are dear to me." Yes, at the end, in chapter 18. Where else does he say that I am everybody's friend? He literally says everybody. Yeah, for sure. The peace formula. Yes. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, 529, he says, I'm Sarvabhutanam, I'm a friend of all the living entities. So in verse 27, the Sanskrit is Loka Bhavana. So Bhavana means one who enlivens, but in many places it is translated as one who is who wishes happiness of everybody. So here it's quite interesting. Srila Prabhupada translates as the best friend. He's the best friend. So here, then in verse 28, the statement is that everything was the same. The place, the time, the effort, the purpose, everything was the same for the demons and for the devotees. Everything. Yes, but some of them got nectar and the others got stinky smoke. So very, very different results. Even though the demons won and defeated the demigods and took away the nectar, so in so many ways. So apparently Krishna is also their friend, a friend of the demons. Is Krishna a friend of the demons? So why does he take away the nectar from the demons if he's their friend? Why didn't he give them at least a drop?
It's
for their own benefit. Hare Krishna. For their own benefit, yes. So Srila Prabhupada quotes Ye Thamam Prapadyanta. And then Srila Prabhupada goes on to offer very attractive but rather dangerous proposition that you can see, just look around. Devotees can easily achieve, with the same endeavor, they can easily achieve so many wonderful things which are not available to the non-devotees. And in fact, it is quite popular among the faithful religious people to murmur. You know, this is the King James Bible version translation that people we murmur between ourselves. Murmur. So murmur means that we grumble and not very loudly saying, "Oh, why is this? Oh, we're a little grumpy and grouchy. Oh, this was not enough. I worked so hard. Why didn't he give me 10 or 20? He gave me only half. What is this?" Oh, no. We murmur. Yes, it's called murmuring in an unfavorable way. So therefore, we have and as soon as something we can see in our life that we were not happy, or in somebody's life that somebody was not apparently got some bad deal, or, you know, a short shrift, or what do you call this? You know, like a bad luck. Then it's immediately in the forefront of our mind. Forget all the good things, but just look at this one bad thing. It's called heuristic bias. You know, easy to remember, easy to know. Like for example, I don't know, how many people die from shark bites or from something. So it's or from airplane crashes. So airplane crashes are extremely rare, actually. So it's one of the safest forms of transport. You are more likely to die falling from your bed, actually. Actually, statistically, people die more frequently falling from their bed or in their bathrooms. Or bathrooms are extremely dangerous, actually. But is anybody afraid of a bathroom? No. Are people afraid of airplanes? Yes. Do we read very often, you know, like every day, do we read that people, he fell from his bed and died, or fell in a bathroom and died? No, nobody. Oh, no. What's the news? There's no news. But an airplane. Oh, this is really. Yeah. It can be expanded. I will not elaborate. But yes. So the same. It's called heuristic bias. And like, do you know what is the most dangerous? What is the most dangerous animal in the world from whom the biggest number of people die? Some of you probably know, huh? Mosquitoes. Yes, mosquitoes. Yeah, there's nothing compared to mosquitoes. Malaria in where? Somewhere in Africa and In India, also plenty. Mosquitoes, extremely dangerous. I think something like, I will not try to give you the numbers. So, also when we look around, we think that, oh, devotees suffer. Krishna, as I mentioned, in one temple, there was a club of in the Brahmacharini ashram who were getting together and discussing how cruel Krishna is. They were bringing up so many examples of Krishna's cruelty, how God is so cruel, and they were trying to read, like the discussions from the 10th canto Krishna book from the gopis, where the gopis also accuse Krishna of cruelty. Yes, they say, oh yes, when Krishna came as Rama, this poor Shurpanaka came and smiled at him, and what did he do? He cut off her nose. He's been always cruel to women. That's not just this life, also in previous lives. He's like that. That's his nature. So they were discussing all kinds of. So in Krishna Lila, such mood is called man, contrariness. So some criticism, some apparently negative attitude. But there is one detail that this man is at a level of ecstatic love coming after sneha, pranaya, and prema. So it's three levels up after prema. So therefore, if we want to vent our anger at Krishna, following in the footsteps of the gopis, it's advisable to wait until we reach prema, and then 2 more levels. Then okay. Then it will be, but not before. If it's before, then it's out of order. It's not in a proper order. It has to be after. So when we read this, we can immediately, I don't know, did it happen to you when you heard that devotees are so lucky, so fortunate, everything is so easy, and inside you feel, what do you mean easy? That was not easy, this was not easy. What about this devotee? He suffered so much. What is that? What do you mean easy? And devotees are blessed. Another super popular statement, which is spread like, it's taken almost like the gospel truth, that devotees have super high divorce rates. Have you heard this? Divorce, separation. Man and husband and wife separation. Yeah? Divorce. Have you heard this statement? That devotees have more divorce than have you heard this? Nobody studied. You just saw, Paramahamsa, Paramapurusha Priya Krishna Das and Krishna Nandini Dasi divorcing, and because they were such an attractive couple, then you remember this very nicely, and you don't pay attention to all the 100 other couples who stayed together very nicely, but you know that they divorced. So actually, somebody actually studied that actually it's less than outside. Divorces, if you actually count, it's actually less. But we like to, grumble and murmur. Yes, to take the position of a victim in front of Krishna. And it's a good survival strategy. Yes, like I'm from Ukraine personally, so in Ukraine this is a national sport. Always complain, complain about everything. Whatever you have to find some fault. Oh, this is a nice car, but underneath on the left side there is this paint. Look, you see this paint? This paint is bad color. Or but this is not such a. The other car is better. Or this is a new. It's a big house, but you know how much work was there. And look out across the road. There is always you have to find so many faults and complain. Oh no, it's so bad. No, it's really bad. It's like a national sport, It's you can find fault in anything. And be bitter, Oh no. We are so it's a little dangerous territory. We are so poor. We are so poor. And if recently my friend visited, he lives in Germany, he visited his mother, and they just went for a trip near a city, and then his mother said, oh yes, salaries, very bad, pensions and this, very bad, and we are such poverty. And he says, Mom, but yesterday we just went to the suburb, did you see the houses? Did you see the cars? Never in history did we have such opulent houses, mansions, the whole suburb and village, people live in mansions. And, I'll just go out on the street. I mean, just look at the street, look at the cars that people are driving. 10, 15 years ago, you would consider yourself to be a king, not a king, a demigod, if you were driving such a car. No. But look at him, he has a better car. So we can easily complain, and it's a defense strategy, because if you're complaining, then maybe less people will be envious of you, right? If you go around and say, yes, I'm happy, wealthy and wise, and this and that, first of all, it's not nice. Krishna says in the 16th chapter, this is demoniac. This is how the demoniac speak on one hand. On the other hand, somebody may become envious. I mean, they are envious anyway. But if you are also look happy even a little bit, then you are in trouble. Anyway, so it's a funny phenomenon of human psychology. We have this very frequently. So therefore, sometimes we may resist what Srila Prabhupada is saying. And so much so that oftentimes our lives are filled with bitterness. And in general, also psychology is of every human you can just look at the news. All the news are some calamities, disasters, catastrophes. Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of catastrophes. This is the material world, for sure. But sometimes you hear about some catastrophe, and then you just remember the last century. Compare all your catastrophes to the last century, where half the country was killed, or the whole nation was exterminated, or it's tens of millions were killed. If you compare, and this is just the last century, and if you go several centuries back, Hare Krishna. There's one friend was saying that I was taking breakfast and I was just wondering that 100 years ago, even the Queen of England could not eat such a breakfast as I'm eating right now. It was not possible, to have such variety of such things as we are eating right now. So yes, that's the tendency of the mind. If something is negative and dangerous, it immediately captures our attention, and if something is positive, it's very suspect. Not sure if we can trust this. I mean, I'm not saying this is the material world. It's not supposed to be fully comfortable. It's not a place for a gentleman. Yes? It's not a place to relax and stay forever, especially not the earthly planets. But Srila Prabhupada here argues that for devotees have an even better luck, much better luck than non-devotees. So, would you agree with this? Do you agree that devotees are luckier than non-devotees? I remember there was a time when it was popular to share stories about some devotees getting into a car crash. And I know at least 4 like this, that the police come and then they say, where are the corpses? And they say, no corpses. And then who was inside? Well, we were inside. Not possible. The car is totally smashed, like completely. There was just a little space left, and they were inside in that space, unharmed. It was very popular. Of course, I haven't heard this in a while. Many years I haven't heard about crashes. But also, it's probably not a good thing to boast about crashes, right? It's not the best thing to get into a crash. Niranjan Maharaj always is asking devotees, please take enough rest and do not drive in the night and be careful, because what's the point of losing? Why we do so much service to attract even one person to Krishna consciousness, and then in one crash we lose so many nice devotees. It's so useless. Why should we? So be careful and drive carefully. So Srila Prabhupada gives here the purport. Do you remember any examples that Srila Prabhupada gives about how devotees are lucky in some other places? How devotees are luckier than others?
I remember this only because Mukul Madhva Prabhu gave class on this one, because in the 8th canto, I think 6th chapter, verse 47, or 547, I think, in that exactly the same purport is there, that devotees achieve wonderful results even though they may not even strive as hard. And Srila Prabhupada explains that, devotees are blessed by the Lord, and that is how this is the grace of the Lord on the devotee.
Yes.
So I remember this purport.
Yes. Somehow I always remember big boxes of butter in our temple in 1991, I think, which was like the old economy fell apart. I think here you had something similar, when you had to change your, what was it, dinars into dollars in the morning, because in the evening the rate would be much worse. Yeah, it was dropping, hyperinflation and everything. Yeah, so it was something similar. I remember me and my brahmachari ashram friend, we were distributing books, and then, you can see everything is falling apart. So he got worried that winter is coming, how will I buy winter clothes? And so he went away and he got a job. And then for many years he struggled very hard. I mean, he blooped, as we say. Yeah? He dropped his practice. And he worked not a very good, not a very desirable type of a job. Which is okay, but I just couldn't help remembering him when we were in the temple, and the shops were empty, money was useless, and everything was... And some friends would bring boxes of butter into the temple, and we were melting this into ghee, and I just thought, it just comes, You distribute books. I mean, you do your work. It's not that we were just lying on the, we were working hard, distributing books, going on the street every day, everything. But the things that Krishna was sending were far in excess of what hard-working people outside even could get. So somehow I remember always this. I'm sorry, it may sound like a little boastful, the guy, the greedy monk sitting in the monastery and enjoying boxes of butter. That poor, hard-working family man. No, the people who sent this butter were doing okay too. It's and we were also working really hard. We were working, more than 10, 11 hours a day in freezing conditions. But the result was unpredictably more delicious than for if we would just do it as karma, because some engineers would not get salary for half a year. They were engineers doing very hard work and just no salary, just wait, and how do you? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. That was in 91. So somehow I remember this. But okay, so we can all probably remember some examples. We can probably all come up with some examples. But do devotees get difficulties? Do we get difficulties? Yes, we get difficulties. Are these difficulties difficult? Very difficult. They can be so difficult. Yeah? They can be extremely difficult. They can be excruciating. Excruciating, it's like a horrible torture. It's like a horrible torture. You can hardly survive. You can hardly survive. So why? Like also even this here, the demigods, in this exact story, you have at least 2-3 points where the demigods were in an extremely difficult point. At one point, they even died. They were working so hard with this mountain carrying that they dropped dead. I mean, talk about difficulties. The guys dropped dead. They dropped dead. Finished. Of course, Krishna came and then just looked at them and they came back to life. So there's a happy end there. But the guys dropped dead, the demigods. Or just a few verses back, they got the ultimate result, the nectar, the whole idea. They made truce. They made peace with the demons. They were working with the demons. They got the nectar, and then they lost it. I mean, it's probably worse than death. You know, it's worse than death. So, some suffering is much worse than death. You know, sometimes you think, I am ready to die for Krishna or something. I've heard, you know, sorry, guys, you know, and girls, dying is easy. You know, you try living for Krishna. Dying, you die, and that's it. You know, you go on somewhere. But living is like dying 20 times a day. You know, that's the challenge. That's, you know, living for Krishna. That's the hard work that we offer to Krishna. Offer your life to Krishna and keep going. So the demigods lost the meaning of everything. They were struggling so hard, and then how are they going to be demigods? I mean, it's worse than death because it's the death of their self. Who they are? The demigods. What they do? They maintain the universe. Can they do it? No. No Amrita, how can they maintain the universe? So it's worse than death. It's extremely painful. And then, of course, and then Krishna, what does Krishna do? Does Krishna come and defeat the demons or give the demigods some super weapons? No, he comes as a beautiful, beautiful lady. So the demigods themselves are not sure what's happening. Who is this lady? Beautiful lady, yes? Mohini Murti. Anyway, so many. So even in this story, you can see that the demigods are going through extreme difficulties. So therefore, it doesn't mean that we will not get difficulties. It doesn't mean that you will not get some challenges. And in the same canto here, this canto 8, you will see it's almost, you know, like the exam canto. You have several. We have a super famous story with Bali Maharaj and Vamana. Yes, so Bali Maharaj is taken. The whole universe is taken away, and then after he has given away the universe, he is arrested and humiliated, and he still surrenders. He still surrenders to Vamana. So then he becomes a Mahajan. He becomes one of the 12 most famous teachers of the universe to teach us devotional service. So exams are extremely unpleasant usually before, but extremely wonderful afterwards. Yes? Who has successfully written any exams in your life? Yeah, or passed whatever exams. I mean, come on, you know, driving, I guess everybody would pass the driving exam. I hope, yeah. I mean, if you tried. So, are you satisfied that you passed this exam? Whatever exams. Are you? Is it good that you passed this exam? It is good, no? It moves you onto the next level up. An exam opens and the next level up. Yeah, and you become a new person, actually. You do something new, right? And before the exam, were you nervous? Was it uncomfortable? Was it scary? Was it difficult? Was it very undesirable? It was very, very, usually you become very nervous before it. And if you're not nervous, Krishna may invent some new type of an exam, not to give you trouble, but to help you level up. Help you go on to the next level. So usually you can see even the varnashama. So you can see what the Western psychologists are delighted. They are so delighted. Ushichan, or how you say it? About varnasham. Because they say, you see, they have it all planned out. Brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. They, from the get-go, from the beginning, they know, now I study. And then I step up and marry. Then I step up and renounce. Then I step up and become indifferent to everything in this world. It's all planned out. They admire this. They really, it makes them really happy about this. So this matches the main usual transitions. So the difficulty of the modern modern society. So Prabhupada has created at least the 4 ashramas, and the difficulty of the modern society that there is nothing to mark the transition between a boy and a man. Yes. So therefore we have plenty of grown-up boys, or how to say, children in adult bodies, right? Children in adult bodies who are lost, don't know what's happening, so therefore we have jokes that in a child's life, only the first 45 years are difficult. We are laughing, but it's the sad truth. Why we are laughing? Because it's true. This is why we are laughing. But in the Vedic society, Skanda Purana and Grihastha, Jiva Goswami says 1 Grihastha is worth 1,000 brahmacharis. Why? Because this is a person who steps up to take responsibility, and this is, I can give a whole 3-year course on this. So basically, every society used to have some kind of an initiation, and initiation was something to break our dependency from the home comforts, from the mother care, and let you become an individual. So there were some systems to let you become a responsible individual. And then you go through some tests, usually some pain, voluntary pain and austerity, to prove that yes, you can take pain, you can take pain, you can face discomfort, and then you develop some abilities, and then you reintegrate into the society on a different level. Yes? And then you are super man and super woman agrihasta, Hare Krishna, meaning that you are successful spiritually and materially, Hare Krishna. Yeah, in Kali Yuga, if you do this, you are Superman and Superwoman. But then, you hit 40, or maybe 50, whatever, and 40 hits back. I don't know if you can translate this. You hit 40 and 40 hits back. You hit 50 and 50 hits back. And you feel, okay, I have built 3 houses, I have bought 15 cars, I have brought up 3 kids, and it's all useless. It's all useless. Who am I? What am I doing? I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Not only not happy, it's all useless. This kid is a drunkard. That kid is a super successful, but not spiritual. This one is spiritual, but miserable. And anyway, so I'm sorry. I'm painting this somewhat bleak scenario, but even if everything, if it's like this, it's good. At least you know what's wrong. It's worse when everything is ideal and it's still useless. Perfect wife, perfect kids, perfect achievement, perfect palace, and it's empty. And you think, what's the point of it all? What's the point? Something is wrong. No energy. Nothing is interesting. No inspiration. Nothing, no enthusiasm. No use. What am I doing? So, if it's not the developed, mature society, then you have the the director of a big enterprise, or the zonal director running away with his secretary. Yeah? Having had a wonderful wife, a wonderful everything, having had golden bathroom and everything, yes? And then he runs away with a secretary whom everybody says is not even beautiful. He doesn't even look well. Yes? But she's different, So at least a little movement inside is there, so he thinks, oh, maybe that's my inspiration. Maybe that's my new muse. Or, this is from the male side, same from the female, similar from the female side. Some new lover or something. But, so that's when you don't have the 4 ashrams. Whereas, so basically you're sort of trying to go back. Basically it's a backward movement. Basically you're going back to the comforts, back to the old story. Yeah? You're moving backwards. You go back and think, 23 years ago, in our relationship, I said like this. But I'm a guy, so what do I know about relationships? That was wrong. Now I know. I should have said like that. Oh, now I know. Okay, let me try again. Now I'll do it well. Hare Krishna. Yeah, you will find, you can discover 30 new ways to do it wrong, Sorry. It's not that you do it wrong, even if you do it all perfect. This is, that's not your task. So you will get a new task. So many tasks. You can see that the demigods go one task, another task. But every human at least goes through transition from a child to an adolescent. You take responsibility, you grow, you study. Then, if you do not renounce, then take more responsibility, and then become a responsible grihasta, and then the next, vanaprastha, your inspiration is no longer the nice lover or whatever, toy or whatever, project or something. It's some value inside. It has to become discovered value system inside that you do this for a higher purpose. That's your next step. And that's also not the end of it. Then there will be another transition. So there will be another transition, and then you grow spiritually. So it doesn't feel comfortable, but again, it's the bad saying, but no pain, no gain. It can be a dangerous saying, but often no pain, no gain for us, right? So here, the trouble we meet, yes, so I wanted to read one quote from a famous, from Rilke. He says, "Our task is to be defeated by ever larger things. If I'm overthrown by something larger than my ego, I am in a developmental versus a static process. I'm called to grow, despite my preference for ease, predictability, and control. Most of us, when we reflect on it, grow most out of our traumas, our disappointments, our defeats." Anyway, it's a big topic. So you can see the demigods have lost 3, 4, 5 times. And they lovingly send us sunshine and chestnuts in Rozhnik, Tivoli, and in the kitchen nice, and all the other beautiful offerings to Govardhan, from the Govardhan hill. And yes, I wanted to say that you have such a nice Govardhan. I just noticed yesterday that the video from here has almost 1 million views from the Govardhan Puja a couple years ago on YouTube. It has 1 million views. This Govardhan hill, people really like it. The celebration a couple years ago. So Gopi Parandana Prabhu says, yes, universe is maintained by love. Because it's maintained by Krishna's servants who act out of love for Krishna, to develop love for Krishna. The demigods are devotees. All of them are devotees. So, yes. Here we have devotees losing many times and coming out on top. And demons winning time after time. And making voluntary choice to do this or that, and losing, ultimately. And ultimately, it's all for nothing. It's all for nothing. And Srila Prabhupada says that for a devotee can be peaceful because he wants to please Krishna. He wants to please Krishna. Therefore, like Srila Prabhupada is a Shakti Vaishnava by all the symptoms. Yeah? He has started a worldwide wonderful movement, already more than half a century, from nothing, single-handedly. And 70-year-old man after 2 heart attacks, or how many? 3 heart attacks, one in New York or wherever he had it. He started, and we celebrate Govardhan Puja here. Yes, but was it smooth sailing? Was it smooth sailing? Was it without obstacles? Was there any time where there were no obstacles in Prabhupada's life? Any time. You read the diaries of his secretaries. Was there even a few days where there were no extreme challenges? But Srila Prabhupada took them all in a stride, like happily took them on for serving Krishna. So what he says here is that a devotee is able, again, it's nice to speak about on a lecture, right, from the Vyasasana. It's a wonderful topic. Challenges and difficulties, and keep fighting, yes, if you're going through hell, keep going. But when you are in it, you think, Krishna, why? But whether I like it or not, truth is truth. Truth is truth. Truth is truth. And Krishna gives us mercy, and special mercy, and more mercy, to help us become alive, more alive, and become our true selves in loving service of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. Any thoughts, objections, comments, questions, ideas, tests, exams?
Thank you, Prabhu. Is this working?
I think so.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for a class where there are so many points for us to ponder and reflect on. 2 things come to mind as you spoke, and I would like to just share. They're diverse, but if you will bear with me, about how Srila Prabhupada has saved us by giving us this system where we can grow from boys into men and from girls into ladies by following the system of Varnashram. That at a certain age, you're a student, then you're a married person, then you're a renounced person, you're a vanaprastha, and so on. So this is actually saving us from the foolishness of the material world. Because there are people in their 80s and 90s in old age homes saying, is this the right man for me, you think? I want to get married again. and they're like a prune on two sticks, practically, and they're, almost going to give up their bodies, and they're still in the adolescent phase.
Yeah,
Thank Krishna, Srila Prabhupada came to save us from this madness, this folly of thinking we can go on like this forever. So that's one of the things I wanted to say, that you brought it out, that, we can actually grow up in Krishna consciousness.
I would like to immediately address this. But by the way, if you want to go, it's already after 9. But I used to laugh at that. But now that I've hit 50, I think that I should be more generous to some people, because in the Shastra it says that Shudras have only one ashram, Grihastha ashram. So it is not demanded that all of them become renounced. So all 4 ashrams is for the brahmanas. Yes, of course we are supposed to all be brahmanas. This is why Srila Prabhupada has created this. But people out, especially people outside, oftentimes, we can be more forgiving for whatever they are doing, because for a Shudra that sometimes can be the only ashram, Grihastha ashram, according to Shastra. Yes.
Thank you. That's one point. The second point I wanted to bring out is what you said about love. That it's so important for us to understand this. Otherwise, till now, I think in ISKCON, love is like a dirty word, We think that we don't need love. But just yesterday, I believe, or was it day before, Sri Kamala and I were having a little talk, and she said something. She said, how can you grow without love? And I thought, yes, how can we grow without love? Everyone needs love. These are little babies who have come to us in the Mataji's ashram. We call them babies. How will they thrive without the love and affection of all of us? How will anyone thrive without loving affection, care, concern for one another? So I think that what you have said is so significant. We really need to open our hearts and love one another and not think it's a dirty word. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
The Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada says, no one can live without loving somebody. That's the preface to the Nectar of Devotion. Of course, Prabhupada then goes on to give an amazing elaboration how there is more and more and more love. First just to food, then to the mother, then to the sisters and brothers, and then but then it finds the supreme expansion in Krishna. So that, and this is, Krishna is not, Prabhupada says, narrowing our love, but encompassing everybody. Yes?
Yes, and of course I hasten to add that, when I'm talking about loving relationships, we share our love and concern, of course, with one another, as ladies with ladies and gents with gents. I'm not saying now everyone go around hugging everybody. I'm not advocating that. What I'm saying is that we then grow to that point where our loving propensities are fully reposed in Krishna, and then we can truly love from the soul level everyone. That's, of course, the ideal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is what Radhanath Maharaj likes to quote. I forgot who said it. That we are supposed to use things and love people, but we use people and love things. And then, there will be some love, but it will not make anybody not forget happy, even fulfilled in the smallest way. Yes.
Thank you.
One more point about this Varnashrama. Varnashrama, there are two forms: external and Davi Varnashram, internal growth. So in the modern society, you can see that in a traditional society, you would always have external roles that would give you some framework for developing and moving. And therefore, people would have, it's not to say it is ideal, what we had some 100 years ago, because you can see, they say that just 100 years ago, when people got some freedom to become whatever they could be, but they lost the clear path forward, so they immediately voted in a dictator. And then, the whole world was in flames of a World War III. because different, so people were trying to conquer the world. So people oftentimes trying to escape from freedom. So there is societal external roles, and it's good if you have a some clear pathways. But also there is an internal growth as an individual. So in the modern society, mostly the external roles are so confused and so lost that either you grow as an individual, and that also most people are unfortunate. But the proper society provides both the external roles, to very clear road to grow, and how to simultaneously grow internally as a responsible bhakti yogi. Thank you. Okay, any more thoughts? Okay, Shadboj, Prabhu.
I was so much inspired by this lecture. Thank you so much. One of many points and questions that I like to express now, I could see in my life and in life of so many devotees that we have fears of things and we maintain it whole life, practically.
We maintain
it fears
whole life,
and anxiety in heart, whole life, and we have difficulty even to see it, to look at it. So my question would be, we cannot overcome it and solve all problems internally only by knowledge. It is not possible. My experience is that we are doing it by praying, and Krishna kindly remove it in own way. I don't know if I'm right, just that.
Yeah, it's good by praying. Yes, not by information, but by praying. Yes. And by association with on three levels. I understand if we do not have three types of association, we will wither and wilt and wane and what are the synonyms? How do you say it differently? Wither and wilt and wane and become weak, useless, and unhappy. If you don't have three, we will be depressed, basically. We will be depressed anyway from time to time, but it's part of life. But 4.8.34, Narada Muni says, Gunadikam mudam lipset. We need somebody senior in one area or the other to mentor us, to inspire us, whom we appreciate. We need someone we can help in turn, someone to whom we can give something valuable, right? And we need to find someone with whom we can be friends, meaning we accept some equal relationship and we try to keep friendship in Krishna consciousness. So Narada Muni says that if you do have these three, the threefold miseries cannot touch you. Threefold miseries cannot touch you. And they are also the three first Bhagavad Dharmas in 11.3.23. So that is so association, and in these three, in a complete way, these three types of association are good, important to be even just sane. It's important, all right? Thank you. But praying is a very important part of devotional life. There was a time when Satsarup Maharaj, I think he wrote 2 books, Vandanam and The Life of Prayer. He discovered, you can pray. Yes, it's powerful. Oh, really? Oh, yes. And many devotees were super inspired that, true, we can pray. Yes, I can talk to Krishna. Yes, I can pour out my emotions. I have emotions. What do? Go away, dispose, transform. And it doesn't work. No, you can give them to Krishna. Pour them out in your heart prayer. In the japa, in so many ways. Yes, thank you.
I mean, if I can very briefly,
yes.
When I was brahmachari, I have great anxiety in my heart because I have almost 14 what I should do when I go outside.
14?
Yeah, almost.
Yes.
I was kind of old, and I always think, even when I'm in temple and listen lecture, one day when I go out, what I should do, what I should work and maintain myself, because I don't know do anything, just Sankirtan, and I cannot live it out of Sankirtan. And even now I can say, now Krishna removed that fear from my heart, not only by knowledge. Just I could feel in my heart, I'm very comfortable, I will find something. Doesn't matter. At least doesn't matter, don't care, don't think about
trust.
all these things. So many things to worry about, don't worry about them.
Yes.
After so many years of chanting, association, Krishna removed that fear. Now. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the confirmation of today's purport from Srila Prabhupada.
So many difficulty that we maintain in hard and struggle with. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, one more last point from Marcel. Yeah.
Thank you for inspiring lecture. I was just wondering, when in purport it was written that some material demons are dressing like devotees. So I would like to ask, how can we recognize that we are sometimes just dressing like devotees? So how can we recognize when we are sincere, and how to be sincere in the first place?
Oh, that's a very nice question. I was afraid you will ask how to recognize that somebody is dressed as a devotee, but he's a demon or a materialist. That's a joke Bhakti-yoga Maharaj is making, that our progress in devotional life is sometimes could be probably judged by how many demons we see around. In the beginning we see many demons dressed as devotees, like. Then we see less, and then finally we see only one in the mirror. So that will always be there, some self-doubt. In fact, you can see Drishtva evatmanishvare in the second chapter of the first canto. Sutta Goswami says that the last doubts go away when you meet Krishna. So there will be three main doubts, he says. One doubt is Krishna there? Or is he good? Yeah? So he says this will be removed just by hearing, reading, because you can see, oh, okay, it makes complete sense. The next doubt is what's the proper activity? Is it really bhakti? Is it really that we should do bhakti and this is all we need? And how we should do everything? And he says this is removed by practicing. So when we practice, we see, oh yeah, that's the thing. That's the process. But he says one remains long time is that's all fine. Krishna is good, path is good, but am I good enough, right? To meet Krishna, everybody's all the demons have attained you. Only Bhaktivinoda has remained in this world. Yeah, and he's singing. So he says that doubt is removed when you meet Krishna. So Krishna will come in the holy name. Krishna will come in devotee association. Krishna will come in many different forms. So that will encourage us. But it has some healthy part, meaning the part where I keep my internal work, internal and external spiritual work, and it can have some unhealthy part where I lose hope. So that's unhealthy. As my Sankirtan leader would say that my Maya is the dirtiest Maya of all Mayas. But Krishna is stronger. Because if I say that I'm hopeless, means I say that my Maya is stronger than Krishna. Which makes no sense. Krishna is stronger than any Maya. So it doesn't matter how bad my Maya is, Krishna is stronger. So there is hope always. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much.